Yes! Well, hello everybody. Welcome to the very first episode of Noise from Ryan's Basement. I'm Ryan. This is my basement. Our first guest for our very first show here, this is Mr. Justin Payne from the band Unmerciful.
How we doing?
And we're going to talk to him a bit about what he's been doing lately and a little bit about his past history of playing music. And yeah. So, what's up?
How we doing? Been with you all day.
This is I have to tell everybody out there who doesn't know this. This is almost a little bit awkward to be in this position because we work with each other. So we have to attempt to be professional.
I guess we don't have to now.
That's true. So I'm going to ask him questions that I know the answers to because you guys want to know. So I'm just gonna start off with the big ones. Just tell everybody, talk about what you've been up to with Unmerciful and what the year's been like.
Well, we've been back for about a week now, and we spent the last couple of weeks upper Midwest and East Coast doing just a quick run of shows, two straight weeks and back. And so we haven't had a chance to get out and support Ravenous Impulse yet because by the time it came out, there was a lot of stuff that was already booked up, festivals, yada, yada. A lot of things were already set into stone. And as everybody knows, 2016 was a really, really great year for extreme music. I mean, I don't even know how many awesome tours I saw, how many awesome bands I saw. These guys have to listen to it all day at work. They're tired of hearing it too. And but we had to get out there. We had to do something. And so it just so happened that John, obviously from Origin, that did the album for us, he was available in December, so we had to make it happen. Had great shows, really good time, and what I can honestly speak for the rest of the guys say is probably the best tour chemistry we've ever had together. So that was good. It was exciting. It really was. It was nice to get out there, and it's good to get back to East Coast and stuff. It's been a minute since we've all been that way, all of us anyway.
Yeah.
So.
Talk a little bit about the album, what the process was like recording. I happen to know, but for other people, talk about, how you guys passed music back and forth, where you did the recording, who you worked with, stuff like that.
Oh, okay, let me see here. As far as writing goes, we had, obviously, James King, that was founding member of Unmerciful, had a good hand in a lot of stuff. Him and I wrote together a lot back when, you got to consider I joined Unmerciful back in 2007, so it's been a minute. Clint and I wrote a lot together. Jeremy had a lot of Jeremy's pretty solid. He has a lot of good ideas that don't really have to be completely added to, but we ended the album with having like the most collaborative song that Unmerciful has ever written. And it ended up being a good chunk of Jeremy's stuff. Clint added to it. I threw in a couple transitional pieces. John got to write all the drums to it from scratch. It was really cool. And everybody had a big... And so we called it Unmerciful. It's the first track on the new album. It's a really raging song. And as far as writing goes, it seems you would think that a band that has, all but one member that actually writes music would be fast, but that's not the case. There's a whole lot of hands in the pot that want to make it as good as possible. So not that it makes it take longer, but it makes it better. That's for sure. Because especially with extreme metal and stuff, it's like, well, you don't want it to be just a bunch of noisy shit. You want to have great song structures to it. And that's everything that we've read since the release. That's one main thing that they put a focus on. It's like, wow, these song structures are great, and that's really what we stabbed for. So, and that's what took so long. It mostly boils down to who has the first ideas, and everybody throws them around. And
I was hoping that nobody would say anything for long enough that we could end that question, and I could stop everything and tell them to shut up.
I had short hair.
Wow, that's pretty.
Oh, we got a haircut, did we?
Pink on.
But like I was saying, it usually just depends on who has the ideas first, and then it grows from there. And everybody's pretty. We're not creative control type by any means. We just want it to be the best possible. And
so as far as the recording process, if I remember right, you did most of the recording. Some of you did it here, and you sent tracks over to other people and things like that. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, with the recording, there was a little bit of a hiccup in there with James decided that he didn't want to do this anymore, and it's family matters and things like that, and we all understand, and so naturally Jeremy contacted John in New York, and he said he was up for it immediately, obviously, because them guys go way back in origin and stuff. And so we had to send the tracks to him. Clint built click max and everything. John worked real hard to get them down, flew down here, practiced for, I think it was 3 evenings for the entire album, went into none other than Chapman Studios in Kansas City, because he works with Rob Rebeck anyway, and he, of course, Rob's the best, and did the album in 3 days, basically 3 songs a day. And from there, we recorded at Clint's house, which he has a home studio, Waveworks studio, and he handled the rest of the production, as well as helped Rob do, I believe he may have done some minor drum editing, or I'm going to call it minor because John's a monster, and there's not really much to fix there,
That's true.
But, and as far as Clint took care of the rest of that, and of course we had to record individually. We're doing it in the evenings and stuff. I mean, I'm sure metal dudes out there get it, and Colin Davis mastered it, released on Unique Leader, and that was that. It ended up being a little longer of a process because we had to jump it around quite a bit, and we were actually finishing writing lyrics during the time as well, so it was a whole lot of, hey, Chris, learn this and go record it right now. So, and he took them, all the songs, and made them his own, and did a great job, so it took a little longer than we wanted it to, but it certainly turned out exactly how we wanted it to be, so can't complain.
Well, I think that everybody would like to hear a little bit of that, so I think you should play some.
Sounds good. Let me see. Album's called Ravenous Impulse. How about I just play the title track?
Sounds good to me.
All right, let's do it.
Take a little drink of our non-branded drinks here.
Non-branded.
That's straight moonshine.
Straight moonshine, you know it. Alrighty. band for a while.
Awesome. Man. Sorry, this is a segue into me deciding what I'm going to say next. So let's talk a little bit about your history as a guitar player. Everybody has their own path and their own influences.
Sure.
And,
oh yeah.
I know a lot of metal guys start in the same place, but
for the most part, yeah. Let's see here.
Who got you started? Who were you like? I need to play guitar.
Definitely Dave Mustaine. And I'd be lying if I didn't say James Hetfield too, But, early thrash stuff, definitely Dave Mustaine. I'm sure you can sympathize with that and many other people too. But his playing was so different. It was so sideways and so it's almost psychedelic, even as thrashy as it was. You know what I mean? It was just he just approached it a different way than other people, and still does things that nobody can even hardly grasp. Obviously, as far as getting into the stuff. Probably clear back to Appetite for Destruction, and hearing that first Guns N' Roses album and thinking it's such a great transitional album for somebody that's so young and getting into the heavy stuff. And then you find your thrash, and once you get into your Slayer and Sinister and things like that, then you start experiencing Morbid Angel and Entombed and Obituary, and then it just kind of goes from there. The heavier the better, And luckily, I had friends that were pretty much into the same thing, getting into it anyway, that had older brothers that would let us borrow the cassettes and like, hey, these kids like metal, these kids are cool, and then you discover that your little podunk town in the middle of Kansas, has death metal bands there, and then you ride your skateboard over and watch them, and you're like, wow, this can be done, and it's just a snowball effect, I suppose, It's just like I've been into it for so long, and there's no way it can't be a part of my life now, and
How old were you when you actually first started playing guitar?
I think I was about 13 when I got a guitar, and I was terrible. I remember having one when I was probably more like around the age of like 11, I think. My Aunt Becky bought me a guitar, and I wasn't any good at it. I picked it up, I'm like, what? I can't play Seek and Destroy. This sucks, So I put it up on a shelf and didn't touch it for a long time, and my friend Matt Gibbs, which we all know from Horacle, obviously now, he was one of those guys that he was just naturally good at everything. So he picked a guitar up, and here he is shredding in a matter of a handful of months, and was like, dude, you got to pick that thing back up. So him and I were metal buddies growing up anyway, so that's kind of pretty much credit to him, you know what I mean? And him talking me into it for the most part, so... And here we are, 20 years later, him and I are both still doing it up, It's pretty cool. It's nice to see.
So, tell us about what kind of gear you use. I see you have a BC Rich here. Tell us about it.
This is 2009 BC Rich NT Junior V. Neck through, most importantly, it's all black. It's, it's pretty standard for what I like. I don't really mess with tone much. We're pretty stuck in our ways. I've been playing BC Riches since I think I got my first one when I was like 18. So it's been a few years, and they've never done me wrong. They look tough, they feel tough, they sound tough. There's nothing, you can't go wrong with them. As far as I'm concerned, I'm just, it's not broken, so I'm not going to fix it.
And what are you using for strings? What sizes do you use? What brand do you prefer?
I know Clint and I both prefer DRs. They're not as bendy as some strings, but that's not necessary because we're not bendy. We're not bendy guitar players. We can be, but not Unmerciful stuff. But these are 12s through 62s, nice and tight, especially for triplets and gallops and things.
And you guys, do you generally play in one particular drop tuning?
Yeah, we don't have. Okay, hold on. I take that back. With the exception of the last song on the new album called Methodic Absolution, that is in standard low A, but that's just because that's the way Jeremy wrote it, and he wanted to keep it that way because it lost its character without it. But that's not a live song though; it's a strictly recorded song. But other than that, we're in drop B on everything.
Okay.
And don't get me wrong, we tune up and we write in standard tuning because you get a different feel, and then we just have to transfer it back down. You just go 2 frets over; it's not that big of a deal.
Right.
And on low strings anyway. But yeah, we like the DRs because they sound really sharp. And they don't lose their life a lot, but they have a really good cut paired up with Obviously, EMG 81s. I know it's cliche, but there's a reason they haven't changed much in Early's time because they're just tough as fuck, you know.
Right.
Of course, we're Mesa guys. You know, dual Rex, roadsters, and we use grid slammers for an extra punch of gain, and that's our thing. Turn the gain to 11. You will never see Unmerciful turn the gain down, ever. Absolutely not. More gain, the more better, you know.
Sir, could you turn down a little?
Can I?
No, but I can turn up just a little bit more.
Can I hook this gain pedal to a gain pedal, to maybe to another gain pedal? You know, but yeah,
you need one of those pedal boards that's just metal zones with a tuner on the end.
That's exactly right. Yeah. Gain for days, you know. But yeah, Mesa, EMG, DR, BC Rich, Jeremy. Jeremy is a Spectre guy. He actually plays one of Alex Webster's signature models from Cannibal Corpse, and SWR. He actually got that rig from Alex, so that's pretty cool little history, you know. And but yeah, he was especially for this tour, he was really getting into his bass tone, and it sounded super gutty. But yep, I mean, we're pretty simple. You know, we don't have all the crazy bells and whistles, with the exception of we use Rocktron Hush Super Cs. Noise gates. Other than that, no bells and whistles. Just all fucking balls to the wall sound, man.
Yeah. So when you're not shredding out Unmerciful songs, what kind of stuff are you jamming? Tell us about the album that came out this year that you did not stop talking about.
Oh, okay. So there's this band called Flesh God Apocalypse, right? And they put out King back in February, and I've been torturing these poor guys with it ever since, man.
For those who don't know, again, this is the first episode, so we're going to tell you some things that you're just going to have to take for granted later.
Sure.
But our production guy, our sound guy back here who's doing all this stuff is Brendan, who also works with us. We all work together.
Yeah. This is cool, though. This is cool.
Yeah, it just works out that we all are able to do some things. So
yeah,
we're using everybody's talents.
Sure.
So anyway, we have listened to lots of Flesh God.
Yeah, we're pretty fair at work, though. You know, as far as new albums go, the Flesh God really stuck out. I know that the Unmerciful album came out too. You know, this year and. Man, I don't even know how many albums I could say that came out this year that were just phenomenal. It's too many to even talk about, not to mention tours and everything in between. I mean, 2016 feels like it's 1996 again. It really does because the metal was so good. I mean, us guys went to some shows together this year, and we're still talking about it at work, you know.
And the shows that we're about to go to. Gojira, Opeth, and Devin Townsend all in one show. How could we? I mean,
I mean, even if you don't like those bands, you can't say that's not the perfect tour package. You know, it doesn't really get any more fitting than that. You know.
Yeah.
Well,
I may have to go like buy someone else's panties to throw at Mike Ackerfeld.
They deserve these. You know, trust me, they deserve these. All right.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be awesome.
Awesome. Well, if you'd like to play another song for us, that'd be great. And then we'll say goodbye to these folks for the first episode. And I would just like to say, for this first episode, it's not going to come out today because we're shooting today and we still have editing to do. But we are going to try to be getting these episodes up on Tuesdays. And we've got some good people lined up who are going to be on the show. I'm not going to talk about them because I want to firm some things up with some people, but it's going to be great.
He's got a lot up his sleeve. He does.
Hit the subscribe button. I don't know where the subscribe button is anymore. It might be over there. It might be over there. It might be down there. I don't know. Just click it and subscribe and go to the Facebook page, Noise from Ryan's Basement. Once this thing gets going, we're going to get some merch. We make merch for a living, so it stands to reason that we would have some awesome shirts to offer. So.
And in the aspect of more shameless self-promotion, they'll be made at Reliant Apparel.
True story.
You can be found at 631 South Kansas Avenue.
Yes. And we actually, I should mention this, I guess in a roundabout way with my paycheck, it is in a way sponsored a little bit by our workplace. If you are a touring band and you're out and you need merch, not only do we make some of the best stuff out there, but we also offer a 20% discount for working bands, and I believe that's always. So if you need some merch,
Sure.
go to reliantapparel.com, call them up, let them know what you need, and we'll get it printed for you.
You know it. Like literally, we will.
Yeah.
We will. Him and I we're work partners, so yes, we literally mean we.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah. Let's hear another song. And
what should I play? A hard one or an easy one?
Something that we can bang our heads to. The hair that
You
I
want to hear
don't have.
Habitual? Do you? I was just playing it when you started that. All right. All righty. Here we go.
Well, everybody, we're coming to the end now of our first episode. Again, this has been Justin Payne over here of Unmerciful. Unmerciful did release a new album this year, as we talked about, called Ravenous Impulse, and it is available still.
Yes.
We will put links down in the description box so that you can get to Reliant Apparel, so that you can get to Unmerciful.
Sure.
Whatever you need, we will have links below in the description for it. And thanks for being with us on our first episode, and we hope for many more. And just keep doing it. Beautiful.
That'd be like a fade out or something like that?
Yeah.
Sweet.